Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 30th of November, 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. The city of Cape Town has entered a pivotal new chapter in its approach to informal settlement upgrades after signing a historic memorandum of agreement with urban think tank Empowerment, an organization long recognized for community-focused housing innovation. This partnership marks the beginning of a fully collaborative model that places local residents at the center of housing design and delivery. The first phase begins in the BT section and Vukani informal settlements in Site C, Khayelitsha, where more than 5,000 households are set to benefit once construction gets underway. The city says the goal is to create a scalable blueprint for community-driven upgrades instead of relying solely on traditional government infrastructure cycles, which often face delays, budget pressures, and land constraints that slow progress. Delana Finlayson, the managing director at urban think tank Empowerment, says they have proven the model works after years of trials in Khayelitsha, and they are now ready to scale it. She emphasized that local labor is used wherever possible, ensuring economic benefits flow directly into the community. One long-time resident, Fumeso Tasibanto, shared how living for 20 years in a fragile wooden structure placed his family at risk, and that the upgraded housing has restored a sense of security. With summer approaching and the seasonal rise in fires across informal settlements, the timing of this announcement is crucial. The city says this initiative is one of the clearest signs yet that the Western Cape is building a more inclusive vision for communities who have waited decades for safer living conditions. Firefighters in Cape Town and across the Cape Winelands worked through another intense weekend as wildfires swept through several regions under blistering heat and fierce southeasterly winds. Crews from the city's Fire and Rescue Service, Cape Nature, the Winelands Fire Protection Association, the Navy and volunteer wildfire teams converged on multiple fronts, including the Dido Valley blaze in Simonstown that forced precautionary evacuations in Dagama Park. A firefighter was injured, but did not require hospital care. The fast-moving flames created heavy smoke plumes over the coastal suburbs and activated the full incident management team to contain the fire line and shield homes from ember-driven flare-ups. By dawn, the main Dido Valley fire had been brought under control after hours of backbreaking work, although hotspots along Gleneagle Road continued to smolder. Residents were urged to keep windows closed and pets indoors to avoid smoke exposure. Flames in the Fisgat and Rocky Mountain areas were contained overnight, with ground crews performing mop-up operations along broken fire lines. Elsewhere, the Goats Window and Mehlosori fire lines reignited during the night, prompting urgent redeployment of teams before being fully contained by afternoon. Officials said alien vegetation in the high peaks above Swearmood Pass is currently fueling high-altitude burns that pose little immediate threat to homes, but remain under close observation. With much of the Western Cape now entering peak fire season, authorities warn that hot, dry spells followed by strong winds could spark more rapid escalation fires in the weeks ahead. Cape Town's Fire and Rescue Service says preparedness levels are high and that more resources have been placed on standby across the metropolitan area. The Western Cape has strengthened its lead as South Africa's top-performing province for job creation after new labour data revealed that 70,000 jobs were added in the third quarter of the year. According to Statistics South Africa's latest labour force survey, the provincial unemployment rate has dropped to 19.7%, which is the lowest in the country. This marks a sharp improvement from the previous quarter and underlines the region's resilience during a period of national economic pressure. Premier Alan Winde says the results reflect long-term partnerships between government and the private sector, which continue to build trust and investment confidence. He notes that these new jobs show how strategic cooperation can help turn economic pressure into opportunity. The province recorded 65,000 more jobs year-on-year and 70,000 quarter-on-quarter, outperforming all other provinces. This announcement also follows the Western Cape Investment Summit, which secured major investment commitments worth 50 billion rand, expected to drive more job creation over the next few years. Provincial Minister for Agriculture, Economic Development and Tourism, Dr. Ivan Meyer, says the province is moving steadily toward its long-term goal of 600,000 new jobs by 2035. He says the province's growth for jobs strategy has started to show real momentum and has given investors confidence to expand operations. Although the results are encouraging, government says more work is needed to ensure communities across the province feel the impact. Premier Windy says the focus will now shift to supporting tourism, agribusiness, manufacturing and services to ensure job growth spreads to rural towns and vulnerable communities. He says the province is committed to accelerating economic activity so that residents experience real and lasting change. Cape Town has endured one of its most violent weekends of the year after multiple shootings left at least 10 people dead and several others wounded across 5 communities. Police confirmed major incidents in Delft, Kayamandi, Kalkfontein, Goodwood and Garden Village, while further unconfirmed shootings were reported in Hanover Park, Eerste River and parts of Delft on Saturday. The violence began on Thursday evening when police discovered a burnt body in Symphony Way, Delft. On Friday, the tragedy deepened when an armed man entered Kayamandi Primary School shortly after learners had left for the day. He walked to the deputy principal, who was seated under a tree, and shot him at close range before fleeing. The Western Cape Education Department says trauma support teams have been deployed. Police confirms that no arrests have been made and that the motive forms part of the investigation. The weekend saw more bloodshed when a woman was shot in Hanover Park, while separate killings were reported in Eerste River and Delft. On Sunday afternoon, a 17-year-old boy was shot in the chest in Kalkfontein. He died on the scene and a 27-year-old man was arrested. Moments later, a suspected gang-related shooting erupted in Van Riebeek Street, Goodwood. 4 men were shot while traveling in a vehicle and the driver crashed into a tree. Community Policing Forum chairperson Abdullah Sidney says the motive is unknown. Anti-gang detectives are now investigating murder and attempted murder charges. Later that evening, 2 men were killed in Discovery Avenue, Garden Village. No arrests have been made. The Western Cape enters one of its most vibrant cultural seasons as the provincial government prepares to launch a full program of festivals across the province, each designed to drive tourism, stimulate small business activity, and strengthen cultural identity in communities from Mitchell's Plain to the Cederberg. Provincial Minister of Cultural Affairs and Sport, Ricardo Mackenzie, says this year's lineup marks one of the most significant event calendars in recent years, adding that festivals remain vital platforms for job creation, youth development, and creative industry support. His comments follow the official announcement of a season packed with major attractions, including the DSTV Mitchell's Plain Festival and the return of Mosjazz to Santos Beach, supported by local accommodation providers and service industries that rely heavily on seasonal tourism. This year also sees the arrival of the Italian Film Focus, which brings international cinema directly to local audiences, encouraging cultural exchange and broadening the horizons of young creatives who aspire to work in the global arts environment. Alongside these headline attractions, the inaugural George Festival highlights one of the province's fastest-growing hubs, offering a multi-day celebration of arts, culture, food, sport, and entertainment that reflects the diverse character of the region. The provincial government believes this event will become a future anchor for tourism in the Garden Route. The Cederberg Festival continues this cultural surge by promoting the natural beauty and unique heritage of the region. It also creates opportunities for small traders and rural entrepreneurs who depend on seasonal foot traffic to sustain their income. Rising gang violence on the Cape Flats has intensified calls for reform in the South African Police Service, with Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament Ian Cameron reporting nearly 40 murders and more than 35 attempted murders between the 17th and 23rd of November. His comments follow 3 mass shootings that shook communities already struggling under long-standing patterns of violent crime. Cameron says the current policing model is failing Cape Townians, arguing that centralized control in Pretoria makes it harder for frontline officers and local authorities to respond quickly and effectively. He believes devolving more policing power to the City of Cape Town and the Western Cape government would allow for targeted strategies that address the realities faced by communities under daily threat. At the same time, Deputy President Paul MyCiTi told the National Council of Provinces that he will engage the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure to explore possible collaboration with the City of Cape Town. He says any intelligence capability that strengthens the fight against gang networks should be used, provided the correct protocols are followed. He noted that anti-gang units are being expanded to tackle drug trafficking, shootings, and murders across several provinces, including the Western Cape. However, lawmakers and community advocates argue that progress remains slow, pointing to the 400 murders recorded in the Western Cape last month. MyCiTi maintains that integration between national, provincial, and municipal structures is essential and that ongoing adjustments are needed to restore safety and stability. The Western Cape Cabinet met on Wednesday for a critical briefing where senior South African Police Service leadership, led by Lieutenant General Thembisile Patekile, appeared before Premier Alan Winde to account for rising gang violence and the province's struggle to contain organized crime. Premier Winde opened the session by saying crime has reached levels where too many Cape Townians fear for their safety, adding that the Western Cape invests more than 4 billion rand each year into safety and violence prevention measures. He emphasized that the provincial government works with national structures, civil society, and the private sector to strengthen crime response strategies. The SAPS delegation presented the Integrated Crime and Violence Prevention Strategy, which focuses on intelligence-led policing, targeted hotspot intervention, social measures, and major drug and contraband crackdowns. The plan also includes enhanced threat analysis and continued support from Law Enforcement Advancement Plan officers. Premier Winde said the province welcomes ongoing evaluation of the strategy because authorities must ensure it remains effective. He confirmed that a new Western Cape safety plan is being developed to sharpen long-term responses to violent crime. The Premier also addressed allegations that SAPS leadership structures may have been compromised by gang infiltration. He said lifestyle audits for senior police leadership are essential for rebuilding public trust and rooting out any corrupt elements. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate has requested a meeting with the province and Acting Minister of Police Professor Kachalia to provide an update on investigations following the Thular judgment. Premier Winde concluded that national and provincial crime fighting plans must urgently address under-resourcing, intelligence capacity, and prosecutorial strength if they are to deliver real change. He said, increased collaboration across all levels of government is essential because none of the role players can tackle the province's violent crime crisis alone. The City of Cape Town is seeking an urgent interdict against a group of individuals accused of extortion and intimidation at the newly completed MyCiTi Spine Road depots along Spine Road and Mew Way between Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain. According to the Urban Mobility Directorate, the group forcibly removed the lawfully appointed security provider on Monday, threatening to vandalize or disrupt the facility unless their preferred company replaced the current contractor. City officials say this follows an ambush-style meeting last week in which threats were issued should procurement processes not be adjusted to favor their demands. Their demands include removing the contracted service provider, Bidvest, and replacing it with Sibakulu, a subcontractor used during construction. The group further insisted that only companies from Ward 99 and surrounding Khayelitsha areas be appointed for future cleaning and security work. The city has opened criminal cases with police and deployed law enforcement officers to stabilize the situation, though officials warn that resources cannot be diverted indefinitely. They stress that procurement cannot be rewritten in a community meeting and that municipal assets cannot be captured for personal gain. The vehicle operating company responsible for the facility is legally required to appoint subcontractors in line with the Municipal Finance Management Act, and the city emphasizes that temporary construction phase work does not entitle anyone to long-term operational contracts. Mayoral Committee member for Urban Mobility Councillor Rob Quintus said the depot serves more than 1.4 million residents across 30 communities, and any effort to intimidate or interfere with services is a criminal offence. He said attempts to dictate procurement outcomes through threats are an attack on the entire community and will be met with full legal force. Authorities are escalating efforts to curb violent crime in the Western Cape after weeks of relentless gang-related murders left communities unsettled. Deputy President Paul MyCiTi told the National Council of Provinces that the national government is weighing the deployment of the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, known as NatJoints, to stabilize the situation. He said fragmented policing has undermined investigations and allowed gang leaders to exploit gaps within the justice system. NatJoints integrates policing, defense, and intelligence resources to ensure arrests are backed by investigations strong enough to secure convictions. Without that, MyCiTi warned, suspects risk returning to the streets within days. Smile FM reported that dozens of murders have been recorded across the Cape Flats, with nearly 400 lives lost in a single month across the province, intensifying calls for immediate intervention. Parliament is also moving to examine the root causes of conviction failures, a step that city leaders believe may push long-awaited reform into the national spotlight. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis welcomed the inquiry, calling it a crucial opportunity to raise persistent concerns about weak conviction rates and shortages within national policing structures. He said arrests alone mean little without follow-through, noting that detectives and prosecutors remain under-resourced. The city argues that broader investigative powers for municipal officers would strengthen case dockets and improve prosecution outcomes. Alderman J.P. Smith highlighted operational challenges uncovered by the Madlunga Commission, from precincts without laptops to detectives relying on personal phones and shortages of basic materials, including statement paper and DNA kits for gender-based violence cases. Parliament heard that vacancy rates in several precincts range between 20% and 40%, with more than 200 detective posts unfilled as of August. Officials believe enhanced NatJoints involvement, combined with structural reform, may finally provide a pathway to stable and effective anti-gang policing across affected Cape communities. Safety concerns are rising within Cape Town's soaring community after a second fatal paragliding crash involving the same specialized wing type occurred on Lion's Head. A 36-year-old South African pilot died on Tuesday while flying a flare moustache paraglide, a high-performance hybrid wing designed for strong coastal winds and known for its aggressive handling. The South African Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association confirmed the pilot was a licensed member and said an official accident report is pending. Chairperson Louis Stanford told Cape Argus that this is the second fatal crash involving the flare moustache since a similar incident in 2023. He said the association had already begun reviewing launch and landing protocols even before the latest crash, and the process will continue alongside the formal investigation. The tragedy prompted a multi-agency rescue effort involving Wilderness Search and Rescue, Western Cape Emergency Services, and SAN Parks Rangers, who worked under challenging conditions on a steep west-facing slope. Wilderness Search and Rescue spokesperson David Nell said the terrain required more than 30 rescuers and specialized lighting, including drones, to reach the scene as daylight faded. He noted that while such incidents are not frequent, they occur regularly enough to remain a concern. Data collected over 25 years shows 43 recorded incidents, including 8 within the past year alone. Authorities say the cause of Tuesday's crash remains unclear, and the Aviation Authority has appealed for witnesses or footage to assist in the investigation. The latest incident has renewed scrutiny over whether high-performance wings require stricter guidelines for recreational use around Cape Town's mountainous launch sites, particularly on days of strong or unstable winds. The city is expected to engage with aviation bodies once findings are released. Cape Town's renewable energy transformation continues to accelerate as new data from Green Cape confirms a massive leap in small-scale solar adoption across the metro. Investments driven by the city's embedded generation program now total between 1.7 and 2.6 billion rand, and the electricity flowing from these systems is powering around 150,000 homes. The city's solar journey began 10 years ago with slow but steady adoption. That changed dramatically from 2021 onward as households and businesses sought protection against ongoing load shedding. By mid-2025, authorized grid-tied systems had reached 13,398, with a combined capacity exceeding 251 megavolt amperes. This is almost double the figure recorded in the 2014 to 2024 cycle. Alderman Xanthia Limburg from the Mayoral Committee for Energy says the city spent years refining a regulatory environment that makes rooftop generation easy to adopt. A game changer was the 25-cent top-up added to the existing feed-in tariff, which allowed households to earn more for power fed into the grid. The city's Cash for Power initiative further incentivized private participation by paying residents directly for excess solar energy. Limburg says digitized application processes and clear planning frameworks have built confidence in the sector and helped unlock billions in private investment. She emphasized that Cape Town intends to drive further expansion even as national regulations shift. The city believes strong uptake in areas like the northern suburbs, Belleville Corridor and Conradi Park Precinct reflects a broader cultural shift toward resilient, decentralized energy. Officials say the foundation laid by residents and businesses has strengthened energy security and positioned Cape Town as a national leader in green economic growth. A disturbing pattern is tightening its grip on the Cape Flats as the region faces what forensic experts now call a body-dumping crisis. Over recent weeks, victims have been discovered in isolated dunes, open fields and coastal stretches, many of them mutilated or burned in deliberate attempts to prevent identification. Forensic pathologist Dr. Hestel van Staden says disfigurement, exposure to the elements and deliberate placement in remote areas are all tactics used by criminals to slow down investigations and complicate prosecution. Decomposition caused by sun, insects and wildlife often obscures trauma that would otherwise link suspects to attacks. Bodies have been found along Baden-Powell Drive in Mitchell's Plain, inside the reeds of Macassar, and in Delft's open fields. In Tafelsig, one victim was found with parts of his face removed, while another was discovered burned beyond recognition. Earlier this month, 78-year-old Susan Koch was found in Justenbergvlakte after disappearing more than a week earlier. Police also uncovered human skeletal remains in a shallow grave in Enkanini, near Khayelitsha. Provincial Oversight member Onro Marais says criminals choose these isolated sites because they believe they will not be seen or recorded. She confirmed that a new closed-circuit camera project along the Baden-Powell corridor is now operational with 6 cameras monitoring historically vulnerable stretches. Residents say the surge in discoveries has left communities anxious and calling for more visible patrols. Investigators warn that while DNA helps identify victims, the core challenge is detecting scenes early and securing evidence before natural degradation destroys it. With incidents rising and families traumatized across multiple neighborhoods, Cape Town finds itself in the grip of a deeply unsettling trend that demands urgent policing resources and sustained investigative work. Tomorrow brings a clear and warm start to the month of December with bright skies across the Cape. Cape Town moves from 16 degrees to a high of 24 under crisp sunshine. Paarl heats up sharply from 13 to 35, while Stellenbosch climbs from 11 to 29 with no chance of rain anywhere in the region. A steady southerly wind moves across the metro at around 28 kilometers per hour, and the ultraviolet level will be very high around midday. Along the Atlantic seaboard, the ocean holds a medium wave state with a southwest swell just above 2 meters at a 13-second period. Low tide arrives at 5:55 in the morning and high tide follows at 11 minutes past 12. A second low tide lands at 6:42 in the evening. Sunrise is at 28 minutes past 5 and sunset at 17 minutes before 8. With that, we wrap up this week's recap, and now you know what's happening in the mother city. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget, the next bulletin drops tomorrow at 12 noon on YouTube. Meanwhile, stay safe, informed, and connected.